Hi, thanks for joining me today for this Facebook Live. My name is Lizanne and I'm the seasoned spouse, and I'm here to talk to you today about some great ideas for saving money on your military family vacations. So I have lots of money saving ideas for you for different vacation tips that are great for military families. But as we go through the session, I'd love to hear your ideas for vacations that are perfect for military families and ways that you've used military discounts or saved money on some special trips. So if you have a military vacation that you want to share with us, then go ahead and enter it in the comments, and we'd all love to see what your ideas are. So I know that it might be chilly springtime weather in some parts of the country, but it is not too early to be thinking about your summer vacation plans. In fact, this is the best time to be planning a summer vacation. You can get lots of great specials and early bird deals, and it's wonderful to have that confidence and security that your reservations are already made and you don't need to worry about last minute planning in the summer. However, it can be really challenging sometimes for military families to plan vacations. I know that often we are juggling deployments and PCS moves and just life. And sometimes planning a family vacation can really take a back seat or get shoved in between the military training schedule and be juggled around deployment schedules and things like that. So military families don't have the benefit of always taking a traditional summer vacation, and they don't always have the benefit of being able to plan in advance the dates and the times that they're going to do that. So if that's you, keep on listening, because I know where you're coming from, and I have some great tips that will work even when you don't know your schedule and you're juggling the military lifestyle. And sometimes it feels to me like we have to choose between visiting family, which is usually in another part of the country, or staying put and just doing local activities to save money. And both of those can be fun and affordable ways for a military family to take a vacation or to get a break, but it's not necessarily the traditional fun family vacation that you might be envisioning. So I just want to get a show of votes and response from the audience. If you are a military family that is planning a summer vacation this year, or any upcoming vacation this year, then go ahead and give us a thumbs up so we can see who is in the audience and who's looking to plan a vacation right now. And if you are a military family that's going to be visiting family sometime this year, in the spring, in the summer, after deployment, whenever that might be for you, then go ahead and give us some love. Show us that you're going to be sharing some love with your family this year. All right, wonderful. So I see a lot of those thumbs up are coming through, and I'm so glad that you're taking some time to think about a vacation plan for your family and to think about some options that might work for you. And I see some others that are going to be visiting family this summer, and that's great too. So we're going to talk today about ways that you can save money and benefit from military discounts no matter what style of vacation you have planned. So I hope that some of these ideas will work for you. And like I said, if you want to go ahead and ask questions or share any of your money-saving vacation ideas in the comments, I will be reading them as we go, and I'm happy to respond and discuss those with you. So I have three different ways, or three different types of vacations that military families can take, and ways that you can save money during each one of them. And those are either a local staycation, where you stay put at your current location, whether that's near a base or not near a base, and you just do local trips in the area. Obviously, that's a more affordable vacation. So we'll talk about some ways that you can use military discounts specifically in that situation. The second option is for saving money when you travel. This could be traveling to see your family in another part of the country. This could be traveling to other military bases. We'll talk about using some military discounts on travel in general and on specific locations around the country. And then finally, I have ideas for saving money on destination vacations. When you and your military family really want to get away and go somewhere new, not necessarily to the grandparents' house, but actually to a fun destination, then there are ways that military families can get great discounts and great deals on certain locations around the country. So if that sounds good, then we're going to get right into it. Those are our money-saving vacation ideas for military families. First up is the staycation. And I think these get a bad rap sometimes because it feels like hopping out of a vacation or an unvacation. And honestly, for families with very young kids, this can be a real lifesaver and a real relaxing way to spend time together as a family without planning a lot of logistics, without packing very much, without having to lug a lot of baby gear around and things like that. So our family has done lots of staycation style breaks, whether that was a summer vacation or a post-deployment leave or spring break with the kids. It's just kind of a casual way to explore your local area, but sleep at your own house at night. So you're saving money on lodging and on travel. You're not flying anywhere. And that's a really easy way to do that. So before I get more into that, I'll look at Tyra's comments here. I'm struggling with figuring out how to make our vacation to visit my mom happen. It'll take about 4 to 5 days to get there, and 4 to 5 days to get back. And my husband won't be able to take more than 2 weeks leave. Flying seems out of the question because we'll have to pay for 4 plus 2 pets round trip. So, Tyra, I hear that. That is a common challenge for military families. When you are stationed on the opposite side of the country and you really want to get home to family, the only option is to either, like you said, drive 4 or 5 days across the country, which takes an incredible amount of time, or to spend a ton of money to fly your family and apparently your pets to another cross-country location. And there are some ways to handle that. I'll probably talk more about them later, but I'll say one option to consider is Space A travel. That is military-friendly travel that is for space available, that's what the Space A comes from, on military flights. And you can learn a lot more about this on other Space A websites, and there's a Space A Facebook group. I won't go into it a ton during this live session, but they are military flights that fly predetermined schedules and predetermined flight paths from one military base to another. And if there's space on the flight, they let military families on basically for free, which is awesome. However, the big catch is that, first of all, you don't buy tickets ahead of time. They are not reservation based. You have to know the schedule for the airport and the military location near you. And secondly, they are very susceptible to last minute changes, cancellations, repairs. Maybe there's a flight that always goes from the place you are to the place you're going on Tuesdays. And so you're thinking, this is it. Tuesday is the day we're going to do this travel. And the plane needs to be delayed a few days for repairs. Well, you can either try again on Thursday or Friday, or that's going to start eating into your husband's leave time, and you'll have to decide whether or not to buy commercial tickets at that point. So Space A can be a little tricky, but if you get on, especially when you're with your service member, it's all based on priority. So active duty that's traveling on military orders has top priority. And then as there are spaces available, they'll open it to military families. And if you're traveling with your service member, you do get a little bit of a priority. So it's worth looking into. I don't know where your base is and whether or not your family is near another military base, but Space A might be a great option to solve that cross-country flight challenge for you. And if you're listening and you're thinking about Space A, just so you know, they go to places all over the world. So you can Space A to Hawaii, you can Space A to Europe, you can Space A to military bases in Japan, in the Mediterranean. There's tons of options. It's just that the space is limited. It's always a first come, first serve basis. And during the summer months, it is especially busy. So I don't want to get your hopes up too much because it's a little bit of a hit or miss experience, but people who have actually been able to get onto the flights and been flexible with their destinations and had backup plans have really had a great experience with Space A travel. And Heidi said she never even looked into Space A after being a military family for 20 years. So I'm glad to put that little bug in your ear and give you a chance to look it up. Like I said, you can just Google Space A websites and Facebook pages. I am not a Space A expert, so I don't want to go into too many details with it. They only go to and from bases, Tyra, I believe. I don't think they go to civilian airports. But with that said, sometimes military bases are located near a civilian airport. So you could space A and then, get a transfer taxi or a courtesy van in some locations. Virginia Beach is a big one where you can fly into the military location at Virginia Beach, and then the USO gives free transportation to the local Norfolk civilian airport. And from there, you could take a local hopper flight to a specific destination. So if you have an area like that where the military base is near a big civilian airport, that expands your options even more. And maybe it makes it more affordable to get your family for that last leg of the journey if you're doing space A for the first portion. So I'll throw that out to you, and you can look into some options. And maybe we'll do a follow-up live session later with more Space A tips. But I want to get into some of the other ideas that we have today. So we'll get back to that if you have more questions as we go on. So I was talking about how to save money with a military staycation. And I'm sorry, with just a staycation at your current location, which was probably a military base or somewhere near a military base. And this is a great option because you're saving money on lodging, you're saving money on travel, and realistically, it's just more relaxing for your family to be in their own beds and coming to their own home each night. You don't have to eat out as often, but you can if you want to treat yourself to dinner out every night. That's something you can do to explore your local town. But if you just want to have a casual dinner on the couch, you can do that too. And one way that we love to save money on local attractions is by visiting the base ITT office. ITT stands for Information, Tickets, and Tours. And I believe they're located at all major military bases. And if you're at a tiny location, you should be able to get access to them through the website as well. And ITT offices have discounted military tickets. They're like military specials that aren't always advertised at major amusement park websites. They aren't always well known about and promoted locally, but the office gets bundled packages that are available to military families. And so that's always our first stop when we're trying to plan a local vacation, because they have tons of brochures and tons of specials and deals that they can tell you about right in your own hometown around your base that you might never have even heard about. So you can use them to go to well-known places, to the movies, to certain restaurant chains, to major amusement parks. But you can also use them for localized events. They have cool discounts on minor league sports teams, maybe sometimes major league, but the minor league games in your area can be really fun, really affordable for your family. And you get a great family package from ITT that makes it a nice, easy family outing instead of a really expensive ordeal. You can go on local tour trips. If you're on the coast, you can get, boat rides, little cruises and whale watching and things like that. So it's really exciting to see what options are available near your base, and then talk to your spouse and talk to your kids and plan out some ideas that appeal to them. Maybe let everyone in the family choose a different activity. So one day you're going to a museum for one kid, and then the next day you're doing an amusement park for another kid. And it kind of gets the whole family involved. But knowing that you're doing some of the activities at a huge discount or for free, for me, that makes it so much more relaxing and enjoyable, because I don't feel that pressure of, we paid $100 for every one of these tickets. We're going to be here all day. We're going to see everything. Because for my family and my little kids, that does not work out very well. But when it's a free discounted event, I'm like, hey, we'll stay for as long as everyone's interested. And if we get bored, we just leave. So it makes it a lot more laid back and relaxed. So I definitely encourage you to visit your ITT office. And in fact, if you want more information about visiting the ITT office or what type of deals they have available, there's a link showing up in the comments right now on how to use the military discount tickets through ITT. So that's my favorite money-saving option for family vacations that are a staycation. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is saving money when you travel. And that can be, we already talked a little bit about Space A, so I'll skip over that. But whether you are visiting family in another part of the country, or whether you're traveling for a more traditional, vacation resort location, you're going to be going to a destination that has theme parks or has a major attraction. And again, your ITT office can be really helpful because they don't just sell tickets for the local attractions around your base. Every ITT office has access to the same military discounts of attractions that are in other states. So say you're visiting your family and they live near a major amusement park. Before you go, you can go to your own base ITT office and buy discounted tickets for that amusement park in another state. And you can even, if the service member is there or the spouse is there with their dependent ID card, I think you can get tickets for your whole extended family at the military discount. So it's a really great idea if you're traveling to major amusement parks. Disney obviously is a huge one, and the ITT office at every military base has access to the military discounted tickets for Disneyland in California and Disney World in Florida and all of the various connected Disney parks. So you can get that military 3-day hopper pass. There's a 5-day hopper pass. All the different rates and options are available there, and you can use that military discount. It's a huge discount for the Disney parks, and I always encourage people to look into that. You can also get the Waves of Honor program discount at, actually, you don't have to go to your ITT office for that one. You go online. It's a program called Waves of Honor, and it is available to active duty military. I think that includes National Guard, but I don't know for sure, so you'd have to double check that. And it might include reservist and retired as well. I just forget all the details, so I don't want to give out any bad information. But the way it works is I know that active duty families can go to these Waves of Honor amusement parks once a year for free. And the Waves of Honor parks include SeaWorld, which has locations in Florida, San Antonio, Texas, and California, and I think a few other places too. It also includes Busch Gardens, which is in Virginia, I want to say around Williamsburg. You can go to any of those parks. The service member can buy 4 free tickets once per year for their military family. So our family has more than 4 people, and what we've done is we get our 4 free tickets, and then our youngest child is either free or gets a child ticket. We purchase 1 additional child ticket, and then the entire family can go at a huge discount. You pay for parking and you pay for food, but other than that, I mean, you're saving hundreds on the tickets. So going to SeaWorld or going to Busch Gardens is a very fun experience. And even if you don't live near one of those bases or near one of those locations, you can go to your base ITT office and the service member, I'm sorry, I keep saying that. For Waves of Honor, you do not need to go to ITT. You go to the Waves of Honor website, and the service member can, I think there's a way that they screen their DoD credential to verify that they are actually a service member. And once they put in that information, you can print out your 4 tickets at home, and then you just bring them to the gate at the park, and they'll scan them there as if they were a regularly purchased ticket, and then you're good to go. So we have done that at SeaWorld, and I've heard about lots of people doing it at Busch Gardens, and it's very cool that you can do that once per year for free for your family. And if you don't live near one of those locations, but you have family near one of them, it's a perfect thing to do when you visit your family. And then another big amusement park that has lots of locations around the country is Six Flags. And I know that the ITT office usually has military discounted tickets to Six Flags locations all around the country. So if you and your family are trying to travel to a place that has one of these big amusement parks, visit the ITT website for your base or for the closest base to where your family is located, and find out what discounts they have for events in that area, because there are some amusement parks that I had never even heard of that offer military discounts and have really cool military programs. So the more that you learn about them, the more variety you have for your vacation plans. So those are really great ways to save money when you're traveling as a military family and planning out your vacation ideas. And then my final idea, we talked about staycations. We talked about traveling to amusement parks. Thanks for showing the love. We will talk about how to save money on destination vacations. Now, I know as a military family, you probably don't have the funds to do a Caribbean vacation or to go to an exotic locale for what is traditionally considered a destination vacation. But I want to challenge you to think outside the box a little bit, because there actually are some really cool opportunities for military families, and they're not well known. So I think that they are really underutilized, and they're incredible. So if you think about it, military bases always have lodging and camping options on their base. And maybe you've used the ones on your own base. You know, you could rent out a campsite and set up a tent or an RV. You can rent out sometimes little cabins and beach huts if you have family members visiting and you need more space for them to stay. And that's fun to do at your own base. But think about the other options. There are Navy bases all over the country, all over the world, that are typically on beachfront property or have, you know, really wonderful locations and really wonderful views. And all those Navy bases have a Navy lodge, as well as beach rentals and campgrounds. So even if you are an Army family living on a landlocked base and you haven't been able to take a beach vacation in years, look up the Navy bases that are located on the coast closest to you. See if you can make a reservation. The Navy Lodge is basically a hotel or a motel. I mean, depending on the quality of the base. Some of them are really nice, though. And like I said, they're on beachfront property. So I'm thinking particularly of the one at Coronado. Navy Base Coronado in California is basically a resort. I mean, it's a high-class hotel. You literally walk out of your room to a swimming pool area, which goes to the beach, and you can watch the sunset over the beach. And right down the beach, just a couple miles away, is the world-famous Hotel del Coronado, which charges hundreds of dollars a night for their rooms, and no military family can really ever afford to stay there. You stay 3 miles closer to the base, on the base itself at the Navy Lodge, and the rooms are more like 100-ish per night for a family, and you can get the different family configurations and setups and bunk beds and stuff. They're designed for military families that are PCSing or going to classes or traveling. So priority is based on, you know, first families that have PCS orders, and then lower down the rank would be families that are just looking for a vacation reservation. But if you want to travel to a beach, then look into a Navy base, because it's the most affordable way for a military family to stay at the beach. And another lesser known option is the DoD resorts. I'm so glad you guys like that. See, you have all these cool options for summer vacation that you didn't even know about. If you want to tell me about a Navy base near you, if anyone knows about bases that have either a really beautiful Navy lodge or a Navy or Marine Corps base that has beachfront rentals, most of them have little cabins that you can rent that are right on the beach. Now they're small, they're basic, you know, it's not exactly a resort vacation home, but it's very affordable and it's very convenient because it's on the beach. So if you're looking for a beach vacation, no matter what branch you are, no matter how close you are located to the water, that's a great way to do it. So if someone has done that and wants to tell us about their experience in the comments, we'd love to hear it. I've used them for my own family members coming to visit, because we're Marine Corps, so we've usually been stationed near water. And I've reserved spaces on base for our family members, and then we've also used the Navy Lodge at a couple different bases, which is great when you're traveling. Another thing that a lot of people don't know about is the DoD resorts. The Department of Defense actually manages, I think, 5 resorts worldwide that are only for military families. And it's an exclusively military-oriented resort. And probably the most well-known in the States is Shades of Green, which is like on the property of Disney World in Orlando, Florida. It is this little military-owned resort in the center of Disney World. And so you need to have military ID, either the service member or the spouse, to make a reservation. But it's a discounted rate. They offer special packages for military families. And the DoD resorts also have locations overseas. So if you are a family stationed in Japan or Korea, there are DoD resorts in each of those countries. If you're stationed in Europe, there is Edelweiss it's on the border of Austria and Germany. I think it's on the German side, but it's right in the mountains in Garmisch. And you can hike the mountains. You can go in summer, you can go in winter, but beautiful views year round, beautiful access to German towns. And you get this special DoD military rate. So I really encourage you, depending where you are in the world, to check out the DoD resorts. A Google search will tell you which ones are in your area. And I think there's one in Hawaii as well. I'm trying to remember which island and what the name of it is, but there is a DoD resort in Hawaii that is the same thing. It's only available to military families, so it's a little bit easier to make a reservation, and the rates are specially designed by service member rank. So depending what rank you are, you might be paying very little for a vacation, a hotel room in Hawaii. So look into that. And I see Tyra's talking about Naval Air Station Whidbey, and that's in Washington State, yes? Whidbey has a lovely RV campsite, and it's right on the water, cheap, and in the summer, it's the perfect weather. See, that is great to know. So if you own an RV, or if you want to rent an RV and drive around the country, you can stay at Naval Station Whidbey for a very discounted rate and have waterfront views and great weather. So look into the location of different military bases. You don't need to stay on your own base, but any service member or family has access to making reservations at these bases all over the country, which is also a really important thing to remember when you're doing a PCS move, especially if you're going across several states and it's, multi-day trip. We've done a cross-country move ourselves, and it was a week of driving, and it was a pretty big ordeal. But check out what military bases are along the way, because you can stay at the lodge or the inn, or I'm not sure if there's another term that the Army uses, but every base has some type of hotel, motel, lodging that's designed for transitioning and moving families. So if you are on a PCS move, you can call ahead, tell them that you have PCS orders and that you're looking to make a reservation on a certain day, or whenever you make your way across the country, and you're going to get a much better deal and a much bigger discount than you would just trying to make a reservation at the Holiday Inn or at, a local hotel or resort area. So thank you for sharing that, Tyra. That's really helpful. And like I said, if anyone else has used military bases to make a reservation or to plan their family vacation, then go ahead and share that with us in the comments. We want to collectively gather as many ideas as we can. So I told you about the using the Navy Lodge. I told you about the DoD resorts around the world. And finally, I want to tell you about an opportunity in Southern California. There is a mountain resort town, which is kind of a ski resort / summer activity town called Big Bear. It's very touristy. Big Bear, California, usually would be a very expensive place to stay. Like I said, it's a ski resort during the winter, and then even during the summer, they have a lot of activities going on. So it's a resort area year round. But little known fact, the Marine Corps has a small area of cabins that they manage at Big Bear, where you can reserve a cabin for a hugely reduced rate, much cheaper than anything else you're going to find in that town. And you get your own little personal cabin in the woods with access to hiking trails, and it's a very short drive into the rest of town, so you can see anything else in Big Bear if you're interested. And the Marine Corps manages those cabins year round. So you don't have to be a Marine Corps family to use them. You just have to Google MCCS Big Bear, and that will take you to the information that you need to make a reservation for the cabins, or to ask whether they're available for your family. So I encourage you to check into that. And if anyone knows about opportunities like that near their base, please go ahead and share it with us, because I had never heard of the MCCS Big Bear cabins until we moved to California and people were talking about it. But it's it's only 6 cabins, so there's not a lot of opportunity. There's not a lot of room there, and it's first come, first serve. So sometimes they're available, sometimes they're not, but it's definitely worth looking into. And I see Jessica is saying that every time we try and use the lodging on base, they're always full. And I know that is super frustrating. That's the downfall of all these military discounts, is that because everything is first come, first serve, there's no guarantee. All I can say is that the earlier you make your reservations, the better. A lot of these bases, whether it's the lodging on base or whether it's like the beachfront rentals on base, a lot of them are going to fill up a month or 2 in advance. What I've seen is a lot of places only open up their reservation calendar about a month ahead of schedule, and then all the reservations for that month fill up that day. So you do need to do a little bit of research and plan early and start ahead. If you're looking at a summer vacation, now is the time to start making phone calls and just ask, when are reservations open for June or for July? Do you have anything still available then? But if they tell you, oh, you want to make a reservation in June, that opens up on May 1st. I strongly recommend that you call early in the morning on May 1st to try and make that reservation, because at a lot of bases, there's either lines out the door or the phones are busy all day, because families have caught on that this is a very cheap and affordable way to make a vacation reservation. So it does fill up quickly. Christina adds, I know at Camp Dodge in Iowa, it's $17 a night without orders and $10 a night with orders. So that's the cheapest deal I've heard of in a long time. So like I said, if you're PCSing through Iowa, maybe it's out of your way, maybe it's not, but if you've got PCS orders, that's $10 a night for your family to stay at the base lodging. Again, make your orders ahead of time. Do not just start a PCS move thinking that you can show orders at a military base and get lodging. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. But once you have orders, if you call ahead as early as you can and ask about your options and ask about availability, that can be a really great deal. So thank you for sharing that, Christina, because that's an incredible rate. And like I said, some of the ones that are more waterfront resort, desirable locations are going to probably charge you much more per night. But if it's just an Army base that you're passing through in the middle of the country and there isn't a lot that would bring people to that area, then you're going to get some very good discounts. So we have talked about saving money with a staycation by using those ITT tickets to learn about local attractions and get discounts in the area right around your base. We have talked about saving money when you travel, especially to the larger amusement parks around the country, using either the ITT office to get your discounts that are available at any state, like Disneyland and Disney World and Six Flags. And then we also talked about using the Waves of Honor program, which is available to military families once per year. You can attend a Waves of Honor amusement park for free, which is primarily SeaWorld and Busch Gardens. And there are multiple SeaWorld locations around the country. And then finally, we talked about, back up, I did forget one thing too. Whether you're doing a staycation or whether you are traveling, also this summer, you can look into the Blue Star Museums program. And this is a collection of hundreds of museums all over the country who have decided to offer military families free admission, typically between Memorial Day and Labor Day. So from the end of May until the beginning of September, which is summer vacation time. Although I have learned that a few of them just extend it throughout the entire year and you can get free entrance year round. It is a huge list of museums, so I can't even begin to list them all, but I guarantee that there are some in your area. So whether you're doing a staycation and you just want to check out a local museum, find out what days or when it is discounted for military families. And that's a great way to just kind of let your family explore. Or if you're traveling, look into the Blue Star museums that are either along your route or in that area where your family lives or in the area of your destination for your vacation, because it might be a really great way to get almost a free day of vacation. You know, you get free admission to hang out somewhere for the whole day and hopefully see something interesting. Tons of children's museums and history museums and art museums. Some of those, lots of hands-on learning, interactive kind of places that have been really great for our kids. And especially when you have little ones, getting free admission somewhere is a huge deal because you know that they might only be interested for 1 or 2 hours. So paying, you know, $20 or $30 for a museum admission ticket is pretty rough if the toddler and the kindergartner are going to have a meltdown 1 hour into it and you're going to have to leave. So look into the Blue Star Museums program. Again, you can just Google that and it will give you a huge list. You can click on the state or you can search alphabetically, but there's an incredible amount of museums that are available to you at least during the summer. And like I said, some of them extend that discount year round. So it's worth finding out if they're available right now for free to your family. And I have even taken my family members, my parents who are not military affiliated, just using my dependent ID card. They let the entire group of us in for free, which was a nice surprise and a huge treat. So it's really great to use when people are visiting you. You can get the discount even without the service member being present. So if you're showing family around and you have, you know, grandma and grandpa want to see the local area, check out those Blue Star museums. I see that Christina said, if you get Zoo Family Pass, most are good throughout the U.S. for discounts at other zoos and aquariums. That is very cool. I did not know that. So that's something to check out too. If you have a membership for a zoo or an aquarium in your area, find out if that is part of a, you know, a nationwide zoo program that might be applicable at other states or in other locations. Because I know that when we visit grandparents, there's a really large zoo near them. So if our family membership at the zoo at our base would also work when visiting grandparents, that'd be incredible. Should I make a list of these locations to reference later? Christina asks. Yes, I will go ahead and compile this information into a blog post for you, and I will link it into the comments. Thank you for asking. Because I know I have listed a lot, and I have written about these things before on the Seasoned Spouse blog, but I don't think they're all compiled into one handy post. So I will compile that. And thank you. Her Money Moves is saying she can't wait to check out the giant Blue Star family list of museums and parks. I appreciate you saying that. And then we have a San Diego Zoo participant saying that the zoo is free for active duty members only. That is true. So make sure when you're planning a trip, you look into the rules and the specifics of the military discount, because in some locations, it's true that the ticket, they'll say it's free for military. And what they mean is that the active duty military with a military ID can get one free ticket for themselves, but that does not extend to the entire family, which I understand, but it's really good to know that ahead of time. I also know that in the San Diego area, during the month of October, there's a program called Kids Go Free, and all of the San Diego attractions and, well, sorry, not the attractions, not Legoland, not Disneyland, but all of the museums and the zoo and the safari park and the activities that are around the San Diego area, for the month of October, they let kids go in free with at least one adult paying full regular admission price. So being a penny pincher myself sometimes, I have taken my kids to the zoo in October. We have 4 kids, and my husband, active duty, got in free with his active duty ticket, and I paid a full price for my adult ticket, which enabled all 4 of our kids to go in for free. So our family of 6 went to the zoo by paying for one adult ticket. So yes, we had to pay for mine, but I thought that that was totally worth it. And that works for the month of October. Now, not everyone's family is as big, so I know it's not as great of a deal for some other families, but for someone like me, when they say kids go free, I'm like, yes, we are there. All right, Tyra wants a video about Space A coming up soon. I will have to look at that. I need to compile some factual information because Space A is very tricky, so I don't want to mislead you or give some wrong information, but I can try and compile some Space A information and do a video about that for military families coming up. And Ambrose, I'm so glad you said that you learned a lot from this. So thank you so much. Again, we're going to continue this conversation in the comments. So if you're just joining after the live session and you have a question or you have a money-saving vacation tip, please go ahead and share it with us, because the more information that we gather from the community, the more that people can benefit. I have viewers and readers from all military branches and all over the country. So even though you might think that, we had a comment earlier about a great discount that's in Iowa. Even if you think that no one's really traveling to Iowa or you don't know a lot of people that would be interested in that area, go ahead and share it anyway, because I guarantee someone is going to need that information and going to benefit from knowing about that. So those are the programs that we talked about today. I will try and compile a blog post listing more of them. And like I said, I really appreciate all the feedback and all the love that you guys have shown today. So this has been a really fun Facebook Live session, and I'm so glad that you could join. And in case you're wondering, I do these videos every Monday, almost every Monday that I can manage it, right here on the Seasoned Spouse blog Facebook page. And we have a different topic every week, but I do try and share tips for military life, money-saving ideas for military families, ways to manage raising children in military life. And that is one of the big focuses of my blog and of my mission here. So I love sharing these ideas with you and then hearing all the compilation of comments and feedback that come in, because we are so much richer when we help each other and encourage each other. So I see that there is some, Kelly, I'm sorry that you're just joining us now and that you missed it, but don't worry. Once I hit end the live video, the video will be available on the Facebook page for indefinitely. Actually, I don't take them off. So you can click on the video once it loads to the top of the page and start the whole conversation over. And I see that there's some discussion going on with Space A. So I'm going to let you guys continue that discussion, but I'm going to end the live video now. And like I said, if anyone else has questions and comments, please leave them. I always go back and read them, and I love to help when I can and to see your support and to encourage you. So I hope this has given you some great ideas for money-saving tips for your military family vacation. And I wish you all wonderful times with vacation planning. This has been Lizanne, the Seasoned Spouse, and I am signing off. Bye.